The jab was simple. Ducati has built a Spanish national team, and in the very week Ducati turned 100 years old, with the Italian flag woven through its history and a centenary livery on the bike, that line stung enough that the CEO had to answer it out loud. So Claudio Domenicali answered. He said the passport decides nothing at Borgo Panigale, that performance comes first, that there was never a plan to build a team around nationality. Case closed. Except, listen to the rest of what he said, and the door he supposedly shut is still wide open. Was Domenicali really killing the nationality question? Or was he quietly telling Francesco Bagnaia where he ranks? Think about the picture for a second. An Italian brand, maybe the most Italian brand on the grid, turns 100 this year, and its factory MotoGP lineup for 2027 does not have a single Italian on it. Marc Marquez on one side, Pedro Acosta on the other, both Spanish. Worse, the Italian world champion Ducati already is walking out the door to a rival. This is not a small nuisance. This is the identity of the company colliding with the cold math of who wins races. And Domenicali knew it because he did not dodge the question. He leaned into it. Here is what he actually said, and why the clean version does not survive contact with the full quote. Speaking to Gazzetta dello Sport, Domenicali took the accusation head-on. The first criterion is performance, not the passport, he said. We did not want to create a Spanish national team. We wanted the strongest pair of riders possible. Take that line alone, and it sounds like a flat denial. Nationality is irrelevant. Only speed counts. That is the version everyone ran with. But he did not stop there. In the same breath, asked whether being Italian could ever be an advantage inside Ducati, he said something that quietly rewrites the whole answer. Certainly, as soon as we have the chance to choose between two equally talented riders, and one of them is Italian, we'll choose the Italian. Now stop. That is not passports being irrelevant. That is passports being the tiebreaker. Performance opens the door, but when two riders are level, the Italian wins the seat. So the nationality question was never dead. Domenicali did not bury it. He gave it a specific ranked place in the decision. And once you accept that the passport is the tiebreaker, the next question writes itself. Because if the Italian only wins when the talent is equal, then every time an Italian loses a Ducati seat, Ducati is telling you the talent was not equal. And that is exactly what just happened to Bagnaia. Let me be clear about what is a fact and what is a read here. The fact is the words. Domenicali said the tiebreaker favours the Italian. The red is what those words do to the Bagnaia decision, and it is hard to unsee once you notice it. Bagnaia is a two-time MotoGP world champion. He is Italian. He rides for the most Italian factory on the grid in its centenary season. If nationality is the tiebreaker, Bagnaia should have been almost impossible to move. He is the exact rider that tiebreaker was built to protect. And there is one more part of this that nobody flagged. That tiebreaker never came up for Bagnaia. Not once. Domenicali described a rule that hands the seat to the Italian when things are close, and then Ducati handed Bagnaia's seat to a Spaniard without the rule ever activating. There is only one way that math works. Ducati never saw it as close. In their eyes, Acosta against Bagnaia was not a tie that nationality had to break. It was a gap. And they picked the younger Spaniard on the far side of it. That is a brutal thing to sit with if you are Bagnaia. Not that he lost a seat. Riders lose seats. It is that the company just publicly described the one mechanism that could have saved him, and then made it clear that mechanism was never in play for him. The tiebreaker is real. He simply was not close enough to reach it. Now watch what happens on the other side of the garage wall. While Ducati fields two Spaniards, Aprilia is quietly assembling the exact thing Ducati is being mocked for not having. Bagnaia is heading to Aprilia. Marco Bezzecchi is already there. That is an all-Italian factory lineup at the other Italian manufacturer. So the accusation flips into something sharper than a joke. It is not just that Ducati went Spanish. It is that the Italian talent Ducati passed on is pooling at a rival that is happy to wave the flag Ducati just folded up. and the timing makes it land harder. Domenicali gave this to Gazzetta dello Sport in the very days of the centenary, with World Ducati Week filling Misano and tens of thousands of Ducatisti there to mark the 100 years. He chose that moment to explain why both his factory riders are Spanish. You do not pick that week to give that answer unless the question is still very much alive. So step back and look at what Domenicali is really managing here. It is not a rider decision. It is a fight over who owns Italian racing identity, and Ducati just handed a piece of it away in the year it could least afford to. People thought this was a debate about hiring. It was really a debate about belonging. And that is where the last quote matters, because Domenicali knows he now has to sell a Spanish rider to a fan base that wraps itself in the tricolour. So listen to how he frames Acosta. "He's quite a Ducatista," Domenicali said. "I think fans will soon fall in love with him if they haven't already. Hear that for what it is. That is not a talent review. That is a loyalty pitch. He is not telling you Acosta is fast. Everyone knows Acosta is fast. He is telling Italian fans that this 22-year-old Spaniard belongs in red, that he has the character, that he is one of them in spirit if not on paper. You do not need to call a rider quite a Ducatista when the rider is Italian. You only reach for that line when the passport is wrong and you know it." So here is the honest read on what Domenicali actually did. He did not deny that nationality matters to Ducati. He confirmed it. He put it on the record that when two riders are equal, the Italian gets the seat. And in doing that, he told you everything about the Bagnaia decision without ever mentioning it. The tiebreaker exists. It just never reached Bagnaia, because Ducati did not think Bagnaia and Acosta were equal. They think the future is Acosta. That is not simply an insult to a two-time champion. It is something colder. It is a bet against him. The Spanish national team line was supposed to be Ducati's defence. Understood properly, it is the confession. Ducati still believes in Italian riders. It just does not believe this particular Italian is worth the tiebreaker anymore. And on its 100th birthday, the most Italian brand in the sport chose speed over flag, then sent its best Italian to the rival that will happily fly it. That is the real story. Not that Ducati stopped caring about passports, that it cared, ranked its own champion, and let him walk anyway. So the question was never whether Ducati built a Spanish national team. The question is what it says that they would rather win with two Spaniards than protect the Italian who already won for them. Where do you land on it? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to click on the video appearing on your screen right now.